Action. So what we have here is a Mocal sandwich plate to connect an oil cooler. It has an outlet and an inlet to connect the hoses to the oil cooler, and it has a thermostat. So I was wondering how the thermostat actually works, and I didn't find any information on the internet, so I had to do some experiments myself to figure it out. So this here is a spacer which is required on my car, but let's simulate that this is the part of the engine where you would normally mount the oil filter. So the oil will flow to the filter through these two channels and then go into the filter being filtered and return to the engine through this hole. So again, if we connect that up to the to the sandwich plate, it will look something like this. So the center portion here is closed off, and oil will flow to the lower part of the sandwich plate. So this is then the lower part of the sandwich plate. Remember, the middle hole is blocked off, so oil will flow to this area here, and from here it has only two ways to go. So one of them is either through this, let me see if I can turn it like this. One way is through this hole, which is actually the thermostat. You can see my fingers moving down below. It's a little bit difficult with the angle. There we have it. So there it is. And from there it will flow up to the top portion of the sandwich plate. However, it can also flow through this hole, and this hole is the outlet to the engine oil cooler. So oil will always flow to this outlet because there's nothing blocking it off. So let's have a look at the upper side. I'll keep my finger here in the outlet to the oil cooler, turn it around, and you can see, of course, on the upper side the center hole will be closed off as well by the adapter and the oil filter on top of that. So the oil will flow in this area here, and from here it will go up to the oil filter and then back to the engine. It will get here either from the outlet here on the lower side through the oil cooler and then back in through this inlet here, or it can flow through the thermostat, which is open at the moment because it's cold. So you can see again, if we can catch the table down below, there we have it. See the white table down there. And of course, when it's open, it will be an easier path for the oil to flow through the thermostat, because obviously the lines to the oil cooler will be, and the oil cooler itself will be filled with oil. So the path of least resistance for the oil will be through the thermostat. However, worth noticing, there's nothing and no thermostat blocking the flow to the oil cooler. There will always be a flow to the oil cooler, and the oil cooler will always be supplied with oil, no matter if the engine is cold, if it's winter or whatever. You will always have a flow to the oil cooler. So for the sake of demonstration, I put the sandwich plate in the oven, in a preheated oven. It was preheated to 120 degrees, and I left it there for 10 minutes. So as you can see, the thermostat has now closed, and so the oil has to flow through the oil cooler. As you can see now, the thermostat is opening and allowing again for the oil to bypass the oil cooler. Still, it will still flow through the oil cooler as well. This is sped up to 4 times normal speed. Otherwise we would have to wait quite long. So as you can see, as it cools down, the thermostat is opening again. So it's not blocking the oil cooler, it's leaving a path for the oil to have an easier way to get into the oil filter than through the oil cooler.